I knew Easter dinner was going to be awkward, but I never expected my own mom to look me straight in the eyes in front of the whole family and say, "You haven't earned your place here." And what shocked me even more was how everyone laughed, like it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard, and then turned to stare at me. I felt like the room shrunk around me, like every pair of eyes was waiting for me to break down or explode. I just sat there frozen, wondering if I was hearing her right. I mean, imagine being told by the woman who gave birth to you that you don't belong at your own family's dinner. Tell me honestly, was I wrong for what I did afterward? Because sometimes I replay that moment and still feel that tightness in my chest, that mix of humiliation and anger that I didn't know how to handle in the moment. It didn't start at Easter. It started way before that. My family was never picture perfect, not even close. Growing up, I always felt like the extra piece in the box that didn't quite fit anywhere. My mom had favorites, everyone knew it. My older brother, Daniel, was the golden child. Straight A's, captain of something every year. The kid whose picture my mom would post everywhere like he was some kind of celebrity. My younger sister, Clara, was the sweet one, the angel, the baby who got away with everything, and me. I was just there, not bad enough to cause trouble, but apparently not good enough to be worth bragging about. Even as a kid, I remember asking her once why she never came to any of my school events, and she laughed and said, "Sweetheart, you know how busy I am." But somehow, she was never too busy for Dan or Clara. Still, I tried. I tried so hard to be noticed, to be appreciated, to be seen. But no matter what I did, it always felt like I was a step too late, a little too different, or just not enough. When I turned 18, things got worse. I decided to move out because the tension had become unbearable. It wasn't a dramatic runaway situation. I just quietly packed and left. My mom's reaction, she shrugged and said, "If that's what you want." No hug, no goodbye, not even a fake attempt at concern. It hurt, but it wasn't surprising. Fast forward a few years. Life didn't exactly go smoothly for me. I worked multiple jobs, took college courses on and off, struggled with rent, and basically learned the world the hard way. But I grew, I toughened up. This made returning home for holidays complicated. Sometimes they would invite me, sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes my siblings would pressure her to include me, other times she'd pretend she forgot. I avoided family gatherings simply because I knew what to expect. Judgment, whispers, and being treated like the odd one out. So that brings us to Easter. A month before Easter, my sister called me and said, "Please come this year. It's been too long. It would mean a lot." And honestly, I missed her. I missed feeling connected to at least one person in that house. So against my better judgment, I agreed. I spent the week before Easter thinking, maybe this time things would be different. Maybe they'd grown, maybe I'd grown, maybe we could finally act like a normal family. I even bought a new outfit, something simple but nice, and decided I'd bring dessert as a gesture of goodwill. When I arrived at the house, the first thing I noticed was how nothing had changed. The same porch light flickering, the same cracked flower pot, the same sour look on my mom's face when she opened the door. She didn't even say hello. She just stepped aside and said, "Shoes off." No hug, no smile, not even a fake "glad you made it." Inside, everyone was already gathering. Daniel and his wife were showing off pictures of their new house. Clara was helping set the table, and my mom was fussing over the seating arrangement, like she was hosting royalty. I greeted everyone, and they gave me polite smiles but stiff body language. It felt like I walked into a room where they'd just been talking about me. I set the dessert on the counter, and my mom glanced at it with a raised eyebrow. "Store-bought?" she asked. I nodded slowly, and she just hummed like that confirmed something she already believed about me. Dinner started fine at first. Small talk, forced smiles, people passing dishes around. But every so often, someone would make a passive-aggressive comment that felt aimed at me. Daniel mentioned how some people don't understand responsibility until later in life. Clara joked about how I used to forget to clean anything when I lived at home. Even my aunt commented on how it must be nice to have so much free time, since I didn't have kids or a mortgage. Every comment chipped away at my composure, but I stayed quiet, gripping my fork like it was keeping me grounded. Then came the moment. My mom poured herself a glass of wine and sat down dramatically like she was about to deliver some award-winning speech. She looked around the table, smiling at everyone, and then her eyes landed on me. Her smile faded, and she sighed loudly enough for everyone to hear. "You know," she said, and everyone instantly went quiet. "It's interesting having everyone together like this." She took a sip of wine and continued, "It just makes me think about effort. Family takes effort, showing up, being present, contributing, and some people." She paused and stared directly at me. "Just haven't earned their place here." The room echoed with laughter. Not awkward laughter, genuine laughter. My brother slapped the table. My aunt chuckled and shook her head. Even my sister giggled at first, before realizing I wasn't reacting. They all turned to look at me like I was some charity case who had wandered into the wrong house. My face burned so hot I swear the candles on the table flickered. I froze because I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to cry, but I also didn't want to lose control. I remember thinking, how am I still surprised? Why did I think anything would be different? My mom sat back like she had just delivered some life-changing truth, and everyone was supposed to applaud her wisdom. I swallowed hard and forced myself to breathe. And before I tell you what happened next, I want you to really think about this moment. Imagine your entire family laughing at you, laughing at your pain, laughing at your place in the family being questioned. So that's the situation I was in. I had to choose stay quiet and take it, or do something that might change things forever. Before I tell you what I did, pause for a moment and comment what you would have done in my shoes. Seriously, what would you do if your own mother humiliated you at the dinner table? So here's what I did. Something in me snapped, not in an angry, out-of-control way, but in a clear, steady, almost peaceful way. I set my fork down, not loudly, not dramatically, just placed it gently on the plate, and I said in the calmest voice I've ever used, "You're right." Everyone stopped laughing. My mom raised an eyebrow. I continued, "I haven't earned my place here, because I've spent my whole life trying to prove to you that I deserve basic respect, and I'm done doing that." The room went dead silent, not even the sound of silverware, just silence. My mom opened her mouth to say something, probably another insult, but I kept going. "You want to talk about effort? I put effort into this family long after you stopped treating me like I was part of it. I kept coming back hoping things would be different, hoped you'd care, hoped you'd notice, but you've made it very clear my effort isn't wanted." Daniel muttered something like, "Oh, come on," but I ignored him. I stood up and said, "I don't need to earn my place here, because I don't want a place here anymore." My sister whispered, "Wait, don't go," but I shook my head. I looked straight at my mom, and for the first time in my life, she didn't look superior. She looked startled. "Maybe even scared," I said. "If you ever wonder why your kids grow up and stop visiting, remember this moment." I grabbed my jacket and walked out. No yelling, no slamming doors, just a quiet exit that felt more powerful than any dramatic meltdown ever could. I sat in my car, shaking, not from sadness but from relief. I felt like I had finally cut the last string tying me to a place that kept hurting me. In the days after, my sister called me crying, apologizing, saying she didn't mean to laugh and that everyone felt awkward. Daniel sent a half-hearted text saying, "You overreacted, but whatever." My aunt posted vague Facebook statuses about family drama. My mom, she didn't call, didn't text, didn't acknowledge anything. It was like I had erased myself, and she was fine with it. But something unexpected happened. My sister eventually came to see me. She said the house feels different without you. Empty. She admitted that our mom treated me differently for years, but that no one wanted to talk about it because it was easier to ignore. She said she admired me for standing up and wished she could do the same. I told her she didn't have to choose sides. She hugged me and said, "I'm choosing you." It's been months since that Easter dinner. My mom still hasn't reached out. And honestly, I don't think she ever will. But for the first time in my life, I'm okay with that. I'm building my own life, my own peace, my own chosen family. People who actually want me around, people who don't make me earn my worth. So what's the lesson here? Sometimes walking away isn't giving up, it's choosing yourself. And choosing yourself is not selfish. It's survival. So like this video if you were on my side. Subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments what you think about this whole mess. I'll see you all in the next story.